day, I was riding down the road and a couple motorcyclists come by, and I waved, everything like you do, and a lot of I've been riding long enough now to where that, about everything to do with riding a motorcycle I don't even think about anymore. It just happens. I'm not, it's all subconscious now, and wondering how many years a lot of y'all been riding and stuff. I've been riding. I'm 37 now, and my first motorcycle, I believe I think I was 12, 13, something like that. I had asked my parents if I could have one, and they said no. And I believe I was 13. No, I was 14, I think. But I was cutting firewood through the summertime and that to sell, just to make money, make extra money and stuff. And a buddy of mine, a guy that was dating his sister, had a dirt bike. Of course, the buddy, he had dirt bikes and stuff too, and go-karts and all this stuff. And I was like, man, I'd like to have that guy's dirt bike, which it was actually an enduro. What was that thing? I think it was a TTR or something like that, 250. And I went ahead and bought it. The guy wanted like $400 and said that he would sell it to me on payments and stuff. I think like $100 payments or something like that. And I was like, well, I don't want to buy it, but you keep it here till it's paid for, because he was going to let me take it home and all this while I was paying for it, because we knew each other real well. I'm like, no, you just keep it here till I get it paid for, and if something happens or whatever and I can't pay for it anymore, then just keep it, and keep the money and whatever. And so he agreed, and I was basically, what I was doing, it wasn't I was worried about paying for it or not. It was I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with it, because my parents said I couldn't have it, and I was trying to figure out, well, I just bought this dang dumb dirt bike. The guy went ahead and kept it, until I got it paid for. I got it paid for, and he hauled it to the house for me. Mom and Dad was gone, and I'm just like, well, what am I going to do with this thing now? I mean, it's not like I can hide it. So I just left it right there in front of the house. And Mom had come home, and I don't guess she paid it no attention or anything. And Dad come home, and he comes in there into the house, and he's like, "Whose motorcycle's at?" with kind of a smirk on his face. I'm like, "It's mine." He said, "What do you mean it's yours? I thought we said you couldn't have one." I said, "Yeah, I know. You said I couldn't have one, but I bought it. I bought it anyway, with my own money and stuff." And he said, "Well," I'll tell you what, he said, "you're going to, if you have any hospital bills or broken bones or stuff like that from it, you're going to have to pay for that too." And he said, "and you're going to have to take a whipping for it, because we told you couldn't have it." So I went ahead and I took my whipping, and I was like, "So I can keep it now?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "But if you get hospital bills, that's yours too." And I was like, "All right, I'll do that." And that was how it all began. Of course, I mean, I was riding, you know, my buddy's bike when I'd go and stay the night with him and stuff. But he had, I think it was a 87, something like that, KX80. And we'd ride the fool out of that thing, and man, you talk about power now. I mean, that thing, for an 80, that thing would get after it. But I'd kind of learned pretty much on that bike, and so I pretty much went from an 80 to a 250. That's a pretty good jump. But I mean, at 14, I was, I think, 6 foot, somewhere around there, about 6 foot tall. I'm 6'5" now, but so I started out on these little 80, and I mean, from the first ride, I was like, you know, this is it, man. This is what I want to do right here. I love this. And since then, right now I have this KLR 650 Kawasaki, and I also have an 85 model XR 250R that I play with every once in a while, and I have a 2009 Goldwing 1800. So me and my wife really couldn't help me out with it a whole lot, but she got to thinking about the bikes that I've had since we was together and stuff, and kind of helping me out with that, because there was a few that I'd forget about and this and that. But the Goldwing right now, I believe we narrowed down to around 163, 164, something like that. I think it's 164, because I think this bike was 163 that I've owned so far, and that's a lot of bikes to have, you know, have owned. But I've got pictures and stuff of 90% of them, and at one time I had I think it was 43 at one time. Well, now you would want to pull out. But yeah, at one time I had 43 at the same time. So when you have them like that, yeah, it's gonna rack up pretty quick. But you're like, where the heck are you gonna keep 43 motorcycles at any one given time? And how could you even, you know, the logistics of it is just crazy. But we have a 250 foot long chicken house, or it was an old chicken house. It's not been used in a long time. And one end of it, we turned about 50 foot of it into a shop. So I had all the rest of it out there for storage and stuff. And that's where I kept my bikes. And I'd just go through and, you know, ride this one, ride that one, ride this one, ride that one. And, you know, next day go through, ride this one, ride that one. And, you know, keep them all up and running. It wasn't the greatest for them, because some of them didn't get rode, you know, but like once a month, if that. But I rode them enough to keep the carbs and all that good and everything. And but yeah, that was pretty interesting. But you know, I was making good money and everything at the time, and it wasn't like I went out and bought $3,000-$4,000 motorcycles. I'd go out and buy something and fix it up and make it usable, and there you'd have it.